All right, welcome, Titano family. Look at this, Titan Talk episode 1, and we got with us David. David, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Austin, how you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Really excited to, do the first ever Titan Talk. I know a lot of people have been waiting on it. They've been asking when, because the first time it was kind of pushed back a little bit because of the whole migration, and then the second one was I'm moving. For a lot of people that you don't know, I've been moving, and just it's been a chaotic couple of weeks. But we finally have gotten to do Titan Talk now. I want to start this off with of what Titan Talk is not, and then we'll go into what Titan Talk is because this is episode 1 after all. So just to let you
Right.
guys know, Titan Talk is not an AMA. Okay, it's not going to be 1, 2, 3 hour long AMA session. What it is it's designed to not only just have fun with community. We got like meme of the week and all these cool little things of having people on and just kind of either share their story or just really interact with the community, but it's also a way that we can just give you guys, super quick to the point updates of what Titano Finance is doing in the background. Because I know a lot of people, they're like, I wish, the team was on Discord more. I wish they were on this. But here you can kind of get quick updates of what Titano Finance is doing, along with you can ask a little bit of questions at the end. I shared at least like I think 2 or 3 times in the Titano Discord the breakdown of how this Titan Talk is going to go. So at the end, we'll take a few questions. So that way, obviously, there's little lingering questions here and there. But the first thing that I want to go that of what Titan Talk is we got just quick statistics, right? And what I'll be doing moving forward. Now, obviously, we don't have anything compared to a previous Titan Talk because this is episode 1. But what we're going to be doing for Titan Talk episode 1 is we're going to lay down the foundation. So we got the quick statistics here of the current price. So obviously, if you guys go to Deck Screener, right now we see the current price of Titano at 2.4 cents. The current holders, now the current holders as of BS on the Binance Smart Chain scan is 82,318 holders. Okay, now obviously, like I said before, this kind of fluctuates, right? Because now that we have Titano Play, what you kind of see is it kind of fluctuates because you are now holding those Titano Play tickets, right, David? You're not actually holding the Titano token, and then obviously you can
Right.
withdraw and then get your Titano back if you want to. Correct?
That's right. That's correct. So those numbers will fluctuate based on that, on what you're holding.
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of people they were asking, "What's this?" Could we kind of talk about the holders issue? A couple people are like, "What's up going on with the holder count?" Well, that's why is because I even noticed because I don't know if y'all know, but I put all of my Titano, almost all of it. Literally, I only have like 3 Titano to my name. I put it all in a Titano Play because I was like, I'd like to give it a shot.
Did you
And
win?
I did not win. I did not win
Oh
yet. I'm gonna
man.
say yet though because
Yeah,
hey,
there we go. I like that,
yeah,
Austin.
we could win. So if you were say the top, if you were holder number 400, right, you could probably now be holder 80,000 because I only have like 3 tokens, right? So I'm like at the bottom of the totem
Right.
pole as far as holders. So that's probably why you guys see a little bit of fluctuations. Also, with current transactions, the current transactions of Titano is not. We're almost to 1,957,142 957,142 transactions of Titano. That's
Wow.
that's freaking crazy. And then the
Wow.
yes, yeah, that's awesome. So kind of just some quick stats for you guys to kind of just get a little refreshed on where Titano is at currently, and then obviously when we get to the episode 2, 3, and 4, and etc., we'll use the previous episode to kind of compare and just show how we're progressing. So now we're going to get into Titan news. Okay, so Titan news
Mm.
is just going to be for developing news of what exactly the team is working on now for this week. Obviously, we just released Titano Play. Titano Lottery is somewhere in the mix. So David, can you tell the people, what is the Titano team, the core team, the developers, what are they working on in the background, just as like a broad spectrum of, just a bullet point list of what are they doing?
Got it. Okay. So you mentioned Titano Play, and if I can, let me take a second for that because we had our first drawing for first round for Titano Play, and there were 25 winners. I don't have the exact dollar amount, but I know it was more than $140,000 in this first round. And the first round, this particular round, was only 4 days. Every subsequent round will be 7 days. So in this
Right.
round, there was more than $140,000 divided by the 25. And a lot of Titans were wondering, if I put in a smaller amount of Titano, can I win? Do I have to? Because I saw, Austin, and maybe you were one of them, but there were a bunch of whales that put a ton of tokens in Titano play. And I'm happy to report that we had 3 Titans win, each of which had less than $150 in Titano play, and they each won.
Wow.
So, it shows you anybody can win. Yes, the more tokens you put in, the better your odds, but it doesn't mean that you're going to win if you put in a large amount of tokens, right? Right, Austin?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the very cool news is that the next Titano play is already 3 times bigger than that last Titano play was. We're over $550,000 currently in Titano play.
Yep.
Amazing. That is double, more than double our biggest Titano play ever. It's more than double. So it's flying. And also, we're happy to report, if you saw on the announcements, if you haven't, please look at the announcements for the result of Titano play, and you'll see that a good amount went to the burn wallet. And where we are currently, that looks like that number will be at least, in terms of tokens burned, will be at least 4 or 5 times the amount from the last round of Titano play.
That's awesome.
That
That's
is our
awesome,
update,
man.
yeah, on Titano Play. So, with regard to the lottery, the guys are at work doing the lottery, and a couple of people have asked me about when it was going to be released. It's going to be released within the next 2 weeks, sooner rather than later. Part of the reason is just making sure everything is working properly, but also giving Titano Play a chance to just kind of settle in. So the excitement builds, and we put these things too close together, and they don't get the amount of effect that we want. So that's part of it. But the lottery will be along in the next 2 weeks. So that's something I wanted to update on what the guys are doing. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. As mentioned, I've gotten a lot of questions about it. Where are things? So that's moving along. As you guys know, we went to a new token in the DEX. And CoinMarketCap has very specific, let's see, what's the best word? Methods that have to happen, and timelines. And we've done everything that everyone suggested and everything that we know to do. And that's dealing with them directly. That's dealing with agents. It's dealing everything. It's moving along as quickly as possible. And we are hopeful to get it resolved as quickly as possible. One more thing I wanted to add to that. A lot of you have sent ideas around other things that we could do, utilizing going back and utilizing PancakeSwap under different circumstances. I received all those messages. I sent them to the devs. They're looking at them. They're looking at any sort of option to improve things that would improve volume and ease of use. And so they're taking that into consideration, and they're looking at those things. So I just wanted to let everyone know who sent me those notes that is in process. The third thing I'll bring up is the NFTs. They are coming along, and they are right on target. So I don't have a specific date, right, Austin, me and these NFTs, but they are coming along. So a lot of stuff going on in the background. And I think a little bit later on, I'm also going to talk about the partnerships. I'm sure there'll be questions about that. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the background of Titano right now. Any questions related to that, Austin? Anything I missed?
Yeah, and you did. Yeah, you touched on because the main concerns within the news of just understanding what the team is doing, and then you touched on, some major concerns, and you did or did not talk about the buybacks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry
because
about
a lot
that.
of
The
people were
buyback.
yeah
So,
a lot of people were
right.
asking about what's going on. Why has there been no buybacks yet?
Right. Okay. So the buybacks is mentioned initially. There was going to be a timer, and the timer would run essentially twice a week. And within that time, there would be a buyback. The timer mechanism and is being created at the moment. So there will be buybacks shortly. It's important to note, though, Austin, that buybacks will not be announced. They'll be announced likely after they happen, because we all know, or if we don't know, we should know that buybacks can be negative for a project, because they create, a lot of people anticipated, and there's all this price manipulation. So the
Yeah,
buybacks will happen. They're scheduled 100% use case that's in effect. And they're creating right now the mechanism, which is a combination of automatic mechanism based on market factors and an ability to jump in case there needs to be an additional buyback. That's there. What will happen also is there will be marketing around the buybacks as well. So there will be marketing in place that when buyback and burns, I should say, happen, there'll be marketing also to let people know that it has happened. So everyone will be aware. But again, it won't be announced in advance. It's just the announcement is that it'll be 2 times weekly.
Right. And
Okay?
that's pretty cool. And I really agree with that because, we don't want to be this project where people are just trying to, like you said, manipulate the price or day trade
Right.
it because a buyback happens. You want it to be random. You want people to do that. And even then, right, this is a long term project. I tell people this all the time. After you have built a foundation where you have invested money in tried and true assets like the stocks, real estates, that type of stuff, right? And you have money to invest in, kind of play with in the
Mm,
DeFi world. Then you have invested money that you can afford to lose.
right.
This volatility is going to happen, and even
Yes.
if we do buybacks, even if and the team has been producing as much as they can, we are still at the fate of the market. We're still at the fate of human emotion.
Correct.
We're still at the fate of mania that's going on, and that kind of leads me into my next little segment here of the Titan news, and that's what is the market doing right now in conjunction with in
Mm,
relation to the actual price of Titano, because a lot of people have been just wondering why is the price going down so much. And I would love to just share my screen before I talk a little bit about this. And if you guys see here, right, we have Bitcoin. I know everybody hates that, everything kind of follows Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we got Bitcoin and Ethereum here, but that's kind of just the nature of the beast right now, right? I mean, it's very hard for any project to kind of just decouple 100% from Bitcoin. But we look here, I mean, it's been on a downward spiral since November. And then we look at Ethereum, same thing. It's been on it's been down since around November. And anytime Bitcoin and Ethereum, like these blue chip, cryptocurrencies, either dip or go up. I mean, altcoins are like hypersensitive to that, right? And
mm,
in conjunction with whatever Bitcoin and Ethereum do, Bitcoin and Ethereum are sensitive to the stock market, as we see with the trends of the market. And then the stock market is sensitive to, major shareholders, news, politics, events, everything going on, human emotions with retail investors. I mean, and it just creates this giant snowball effect of just the market in general. And where we're at right now in the market is just, it's a bloody market. I mean, and you look at all these different altcoins, and a lot of everybody's, a lot of stuff's down. My entire portfolio is down. So, we just cannot, determine the quality of a project or what they're doing based solely on just, are we down or up? So I just want to kind of touch on what is the market going right now, so that way people kind of can get, because when you hear the people say zoom out, right? They're like, when in doubt, zoom out. We're not just talking about the price. We're not just getting on your mouse and clicking the scroll wheel and just zooming out on a year chart. We're also wanting you to understand, and I want you guys to understand, that when you say zoom out, you need to zoom out and look at everything, the market, what is affecting the market, what is affecting human emotion. Is there something like today, right? The Fed, there's a giant meeting literally today, right, David? What's
yes.
going on and stuff like that. And a lot of people are kind of like edgy on that, like all these major things. That's what people mean by zoom out. So that's just what I kind of wanted to get at, as well, as far as the
Right.
overall market and what's going on with this price.
Yeah, we've had Titano has been in the Goldilocks zone. If you're not familiar with that phrase, it describes the how delicate the planet Earth is. Right, it's like in this perfect, it's a perfect size, perfect speed, perfect rotation, perfect distance from the sun. Part of 8 planets. Is all these things that make life on this planet possible. Titano was in the Goldilocks zone for a long time. And a lot of people were asking me, hey, David, do you think Titano is going to go up regardless of what the market does? And I said, no, I don't think that at all. I think we are in favor right now. We're favored, but that will change. And it's not something that you can determine when it does changes. We had a series of unfortunate events, right, that started with, people think that it started with the bot attack. The bot attack was the second step. The first step was we overheated. We were growing so quickly. I mean, if you remember back to the numbers, we were bringing in more than 1,000 people a day at one point. And it was what we had going on before that put us in the Goldilocks zone. Is before that, a lot of the growth was organic, right? It was
Yeah.
friends telling friends who were educating them. So when they came into Titano, it was, they already understood what was going on. we had this stage of growth where people were FOMOing in. They weren't interested in understanding anything about the project, and they weren't interested in understanding anything about the project. And I noticed it because when I went back in the Discord, as I usually do, it was moving so quickly that by the time I would type my question or hello Titans, I couldn't even find what I'd written. And I watched, how the regular Titans were trying to answer all these questions and dealing with all the FUD and dealing with the Lambos and all this sort of stuff. That predated the bot attack. So when the bot attack happened, it was the perfect environment because you had people that didn't understand the project. We'd been posting constantly, don't ever, we'll never DM you, don't, with no airdrops, blah, 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 blah. But all the type of people that were coming in, they saw free money and they immediately ran at it. I don't care. I'm connecting. I'm giving my seed phrase. And it was interesting because all of the older Titans was trying to go, hey, wait a minute. No, don't do that. Wait, stop. Let me explain. And nothing could stop it because the type of investor that we had changed. Not our original, but the ones on the top changed. And then the bot attack happened. And a lot of the people who had come in ran away, right? The ones that didn't get attacked or scammed ran away and said, oh my God, there's something wrong with this project. There wasn't. A lot of other projects got hit with the same bot attack at the same time. And then you had the scammers who taken all the top tokens dump. And then you had Pancake Swap dump 3 times in a row. And it was just like, I posted a note. I said, I should have read my horoscope. It probably said, don't get out of bed this month.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. And, and of course it started this price cascade. And, this is crypto, right? When you see a couple of things happening, it's difficult for most people to kind of understand. And as you say, Austin, back up a second and take a look. And as people have messaged me, I've said one thing consistently: the fundamentals for Titano has not changed. Yeah, the price is down, but the fundamentals for the project, our treasury, our RFV, our liquidity pool, still very, very healthy. Our hold account, still the same. So I keep saying, when I see fundamentals change, then there's cause for concern. But currently, I just haven't seen it. But I just wanted to say, so all of those issues are impacting the price right now. And now we're at a point with price where people are looking for a bottom. They're trying to understand, where's the bottom on this price? And once it happens, then we'll get stability. And in my opinion, we can then focus more on moving up and focusing on doing a lot more to move up price.
Gotcha. Yep, absolutely. And I mean, nobody can predict the market, right? Something great could happen, and next week everything could be thriving. I mean, it's just it's so hypersensitive. And one more thing, just to beat this horse even more, right? One more thing is I've told people this multiple times, and I don't want people to think that this is like being a moon boy or a hype man or anything,
right.
But when it comes to these DeFi projects, right? If we're talking Titano, if we're talking anything, it's kind of like when you see those, like if you're like if you watch Shark Tank, right? And they pitch the sharks an idea, a business idea, or if you're like an angel investor, these projects, they don't have like years of a track record for you to invest on, like a stock, right? Like if you want to invest in Apple, you can't, you can look at Apple, you can see what they've done. Do you like what they've done? Do you like the dividend they're producing or whatever you want? You can't see that. So in DeFi, that's why I say, and that's why David, I've heard him say it before. That's why everybody in the DeFi space, if they're actually realistic and they're not just naive, that's why they say this money that you need to be investing in is risk capital, because you're not really investing on this giant past. You're investing on the future of what the team can deliver. You're investing on the developers. You're investing on the community. You're investing in what they have the potential to do. You're not investing on, can you get rich tomorrow or a millionaire in a month, right? Like we like to talk about that stuff because it sounds awesome and it's sexy and it hypes you up, but it's you're really investing in these teams, and do you believe this project will be where it is? So really want to touch on that.
Very good. Very, very well said.
All right, so the next segment into Titan Talk, right? Now, as this Titan Talk progresses, okay, we're going to have these cool little transitions that are going to be just like how you're watching the news and it goes to this and that. But this is episode 1, and we want to get this out to you guys as soon as possible. So we don't want to just, we want to just evolve this. We don't just want to keep waiting for it to be as perfect as we think it can be. But we're going to be doing I made a little segment called Titan Meme of the Week. All right. So I want to shout out a Titan here. So if you guys are not familiar with the Discord, let me share my screen. We have the Discord here, right? And we have this meme channel. So I thought this one was pretty funny because I relate to this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys. So shout out to Daniel Russo, right? They said the government when you lose money in crypto. I told you it's risky and volatile, and then the government when you make profit in crypto. Yep, there you go, right there. Because we just got done with taxes. We just got done paying the tax man over here in the U.S., and I think a lot of other people around the beginning of the year to around this time have taxes to go as well. So I thought that was pretty funny. So shout out to you, Daniel Russo, for getting
that is
the
funny.
meme of the week. All right, so
that's good.
Now we're going to go into Titan Focus. Okay, so Titan Focus. This little part that I want to talk about is because in these AMAs, right? In these AMAs you hear with Titano, with other projects, you get like this just giant dump, right? You get this giant dump of information, and it feels kind of like information overload, where you just hear all these different broad things at once, right? Like we're doing this. Well, I was like, well, how about we have a segment called Titan Focus, where it's specifically like one or two things of what is the team doing this week. So instead of saying, just for an example, instead of saying we're working on partnerships, what specific partnerships are you working with? You know what I mean? Like something very, very specific. So this week in Titan Focus, if you could kind of just give us, David, a little information on what is like one or two specific to the point things that the core team and the developers are working on for Titano that is going to just further progress the project, further progress V2, or just anything in general, just to show people we're building an economy, or we're building an ecosystem around Titano, and it's not just a financial product.
Thank you for that. A little bit of sort of background, right? So one of the things that you've noticed if you've been around Titano for some time, right, an investor in our socials, is you should have seen, you've probably made some friends or people that you communicate with on a daily basis. And the topics, the subject matters aren't always around money or price or anything. It's about life and excuse me, things in your life and things that are important. And so when we talk about building an economy or an ecosystem, right, I those two words to me, by the way, are not interchangeable, right? An economy is something that at the center of it has a monetary unit, right? A token. So that's why I use the word economy. Ecosystem are the projects that go into the economy, right? So when you're building this, there's a social side of it as well that is as important as the financial side. We don't think about it that way typically, but it's true. So we are paying attention to both the social side of things, right? This is where Titano Life came out of, right? Hey, there are a lot of people here that are having life-changing experiences, and that's a part of the overall economy, right? So that needs to be paid attention to. So I want to talk about this area first, and then I'll talk about partnerships. But one of the areas that we've been developing in the background, and I thank a few Titans to help me do this, is this area, charity. There's been a lot of conversations about, hey, I'd love to, why aren't you guys doing more? Why aren't you guys doing more? And part of the challenge with it, Austin, is, finding the right charity, finding this right style of charity, finding, what people might like or not like. How does the entire process work? And a lot of these ideas have been delivered to me. And my agenda is always, how do we implement it so it's effective, efficient, doesn't take too many resources away from Titano, because we've got some really, really critical things that we're focusing on. And how do we get the most out of our collectively being involved in an area? So in the area of charity, we've now developed a structure around how we can start it. So what you'll see in the coming days is there'll be an area in Discord where you can provide your ideas for charities that you would like the Titans to get involved in. And then there'll be a vote around those ideas. And then there'll be a charity selected from that vote. We have an idea potentially for the first charities to start things off even before the vote. And so we're working on that now. And again, this gives people an opportunity to participate, right, anonymously, but in a way that you could see. And ideally what we want to do is when we select a charity, that charity will then interact and talk with you, with the Titans about it. They'll be included in some Titan talks with you. and they'll talk about what they're doing and how they're doing. And then we would like to follow what happens with the money and what happens with the charity, so people can feel connected to what they're giving their money to. So that's one of the things that we've been working on, and it's coming to fruition. Like I said, it'll be this week when it gets placed in the Discord, and then we're off to the races. A lot of you have completely finished ideas around what you want to do with charities, but what I would recommend is take a month and listen to all the ideas that you're seeing. So, because I'm hoping what we'll get is not just ideas for charities, but also ideas around how we can approach and get involved with charities. And we'll take all those ideas and put them all together and modify and make better and change and all these sorts of things. And then also I'll share with you our ideas around what we are thinking for the charity. And then again, it's for the community. So you guys, if you have better ideas, which I'm sure you will, implement them and let's make it happen. So that's one specific area I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and I'm really, really excited about that because for those of you guys that don't know, I love giving back. I have an operation myself, and I love the whole, like when David Pitt told me about this, I was like, yeah, like I'm all on board. I'm all in with this, because this is, if you guys were in the Discords, I shared you guys a little teaser that there's a new component, right? A new major component of Titano that we're going to be introducing you guys today. So that was the special announcement, right? Is we are literally doing a whole Titano Philanthropy section. And when we get this started in the Titan Talks, just like how we have all these little breakdowns, we're going to have Titano Philanthropy or Titan Philanthropy, however we're going to name it. And like David said, just to show as much transparency as we can, showing and documenting how this money goes from us to the end user, having the charities come up onto Titan Talks sometimes and highlighting who they're about, what they're going to be using the money for, and just really being honest with you guys on what these charities are about. Because, you know, a lot of people make fun of Dave Ramsey, and I kind of, even if you guys don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's a very famous, he's not a camera guy, like my camera turns off there, but Dave Ramsey is this, he loves personal finance and stuff like that. And he talks about that a lot. And, while I don't agree all with his investment philosophy, one thing he does is he talks about giving back, like a portion of everything you earn, you should try to give back to charity or something, along those lines. So I really agree with that. And I think a lot of people should do that as well. So I'm really, really excited for Titan Philanthropy.
Oh, me too. Me too. You know what it is? It's a recognition that life isn't fair. That's what it is, the way I see it. And people recognize that, but there isn't always a vehicle for them to act on it. And so that's what this, I think, can provide for people. Like I said, let's make it our own. There are no rules around it. We can decide what it's going to be. We're starting a forum for those ideas to come together, and we're kicking it off. And then, let's build it up together. And so this will give all those people who are interested, the ones who've been vocal about it, and the ones who haven't, this will give them a way to engage. And like I said, they can do it anonymously, just by donating some tokens. So all of that will be set up this week.
Awesome.
Right.
So
now partnerships.
What was the other little part, Titan?
The other one was partnerships. Yeah.
Yep.
So although I can't give you specifics about partnerships, I can tell you this, which I think is substantial. There are two types of partnerships being pursued. One is partners on the decks, right? So these are open to all types of projects. Right now, they have to be on BSC, but all types of projects that are interested in onboarding their project onto Switch. And Switch offers them a major benefit in that all of their native tokens that we receive will be burned. So what that does is it creates a deflationary event for their token, which causes upward price pressure. So it's a major benefit. As we know, PancakeSwap was taking a significant amount of Titano tokens from Titano. And we saw what was happening, the dumping was happening. So we eliminate that for any projects that want to join Switch. They no longer have to worry about that happening, and they have a deflationary event for their token. We are getting a substantial amount of projects. I can say to you that I personally have gotten 10 projects that are interested. I direct them to our form, to be filled out. And then the process happens and it goes to the developers. So just people reaching out to me, I've gotten at least 10 projects. So it's being very, very well received. The second type of partnerships we're looking at are partnerships that allow us to build out this ecosystem, this economy that we talked about, right? So some a project could participate in Switch, and that's the only relationship that Titano might have with them. However, there are lots of other types of relationships. Some of them are relationships where we may co-market together. Some might be where we share communities together. Some might be where we launch use cases together. Some might be where we launch a partner project together. So all of those are being discussed as well, and they're moving along. And as I said in the last AMA, in the next 30 days, so if you count back from whenever that 30 days was, those partnerships that I'm describing now are what I'm talking about that we're going to announce. So both sides of those are in order, they're coming along. And as I said, it's complicated. You know, we have to evaluate the project and the people. You know, have they been doing what they're saying? Does their community fit with our community? Does, you know, where they're what they're trying to do, does it align with where Titano's trying to go? All of those things are critical. And so as a result, it's a process. It's a back and forth and a, you know, conversation and a, you know, an offer to do something and an idea for something. So it's a process, and that's why it's taking time. But it's going along really, really well. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy to hear about the partnerships too. And that's pretty cool. I didn't know that there was already 10 projects. And the one thing I like that David said, and I want you all to, you know as well, because I've seen a few people asking is there actually like a vetting process, right? Or are we just accepting everything? And Titano is definitely like, they do have like their own procedures. I remember someone asked you at one of the previous little talks that we had, David, and you were like, you don't know the specifics of what this criteria is, but there is a criteria that the developers are
Yes.
using to make sure these projects are legit and they're not just some crazy project going on the decks.
Absolutely. 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 It takes time. You know, it takes time, and you have to interview the devs and see where they're coming from. And, you know, we're working on that process as well. So yeah, it's an ongoing process, but it's moving forward well. That's what I think is critical.
Got you. Now, we're going to move into the final segment of Titan Talk, where we take 5 questions from the audience. Now, I did drop a little message in the chat to just kind of start dropping some questions, but I seen one really good one earlier that I wanted to highlight because I've heard a couple people talk about what's going on with the migration of all of the liquidity and stuff like that. And we had one here by Rayrish. I hope I pronounced your name right. They said, I don't understand how CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko are affecting the liquidity migration. As far as I see it, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko is the way our wallets display price. Okay, cool. They're not holding PancakeSwap liquidity hostage. Could you kind of elaborate more on this, David, as far as the liquidity migration?
Yeah, you know what? I wish that it's not my area, Austin. What I would say is I know the initial migration, there was concern because PancakeSwap was tied to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. And the moment that we pulled the liquidity, it would look like the project rug pulled. Like, for example, you know, you can look at other projects, I don't want to name any projects, but that are doing a migration now. And if you look at their chart, it looks like it's a rug pull. And so I know that was the initial concern around it. I don't know what has happened since then, but I know that was the initial concern. So what I can do is, because again, I can't answer that specific question about why now, but I can get an answer, and I will get that answer, and I'll post it in the socials for you guys.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, we got another question here. Sorry, guys. So on my just to let you guys know why it takes long. So when you guys drop questions, my little chat thing has a little freak out. So let's see here. So we got Yves. Oh yeah, and I just seen Ray dropped in there. So I seen Ray dropped in the chat. It was Ray Irish. I missed the I's. I said Rayrish, but thank you, Ray. Thank you. So yes, they said, David, if the Titano team reaches all of its objectives, what does the project look like 2 to 3 years from now?
Holy cow!
That's a hard
What
question.
does the project look like 2 or 3 years from now? The project 2 or 3 years from now looks like a vibrant economy where you have a wide range of use cases where, think of it like this. everyone that tells you to invest tells you that you should diversify your investments, right? And that's smart advice because
Yeah.
you want some that have higher potential, you want some that have higher risk. You don't want everything in one category because you're going to miss out one way or the other, or you're going to be hurt one way or the other. So imagine an economy, right, where you have a wide range, a diversified range of investments in order for you to put your Titano in. Remember, I've said this and I hope it comes out clearly. The Titano fixed APY is unsustainable over time. That is a fact. It's not something to fear, but it's a fact. What it means, when you fix that APY, it determines what your actions have to be next. And your actions have to be a way to get people, you have two choices. You either lower that APY, which we're not going to do, or you create an environment where people, titans, will voluntarily take their tokens off that APY. Now, when I first said that, I used to get these messages, are you insane? And then Play came out. And all of a sudden, people were voluntarily taking their tokens off the APY. So imagine an economy where that is happening all the time. Remember, I've said, think that, well, I'm going to be making so much money. No, you don't make decisions based only on money. We just talked about charity. Some people will voluntarily take their tokens off the APY and give them to a charity. That's how the world works. So what do I see? I see an economy where people are deploying the income that they've made, this revenue that they've made into other things, some of which will pay you more than 102,000% APY. We could release an NFT project that could pay you 500,000% APY. It happens. So what do I see? I see a vibrant economy where you are diversifying your investments within the economy. Within the economy, you're looking and you're saying, hey, I'm going to put 5%, I'm going to keep it in Titano, 20%, I'm going to put it over here, another 8%, I'm going to put it over there. And I see all these different protocols that are vibrant in the economy where they're going, hey, hey, hey. And we set up an entire infrastructure whereby when you move from one protocol to the next, the one where you originated gets a benefit. If you're in Titano and then that protocol over here wants you to invest over there, you get an additional benefit to yourself and to Titano from moving from Titano. This is what you're seeing happening with these use cases, and they're systematically coming out to fill in everything that I'm saying. So I know it's difficult to imagine, but how I see it is 2 years from now, Titano auto staking protocol will be exactly what it always should be considered as: one tool in a tool chest. It's just one thing. And people are going to look at it and say, hey, I'm not interested in that. I want this thing, or I like that thing, or I'll take a little piece of that. That's what I see in 2 years.
Nice. And, for me, I couldn't give you an answer. Like, it's just so hard. Like 2 to 3 years, like,
Yep.
Man, that's crazy in DeFi.
Well, I see that. I'll tell you, Austin, I see that. I'm hoping to see that the second half of this year, what I'm talking about. But 2 years from now, we'll have 100 different options for people to move around in this ecosystem. Any kind of crypto project you could imagine, and a lot of real world projects as well. I see that 2 years from now, we'll have real world projects coming into the DeFi space to get funding, right? We'll have a launch pad. We could launch a real world project from our launch pad, and you can invest in that real world project using your crypto from our launch pad. That just popped into my brain. That's brilliant. Are you writing this down?
I'll just watch the replay.
Anyway, this is what's possible when you pull all these people together with a unified approach to things. So we've done that. We've got 80,000 holders on our way to, I hope by the end of the year, at least 400,000 holders. That's what I'm hopeful of. And when we are there in that position and we're getting there quickly, we'll be able to dictate what happens. And that's the part that is challenging, right? Because people are going, well, what are you basing that on? I'm basing that on that's how business works. When Elon Musk, I know here I am again with Elon Musk. So Elon Musk created
you gotta fit Elon in there, right?
Oh man, people forget that when he created freaking Tesla, everyone had electric car anxiety. Oh, I'm gonna drive this thing and run out of electric juice in the middle of the desert. Are you insane? I'm never gonna buy that car. And Elon said, "What? No, there'll be a charging station all through the desert." And everyone said that he was crazy. Look at what Biden just announced. We're gonna make charging stations everywhere. So
Yeah.
sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes the building of the thing creates all of those other elements. I'm not sitting here trying to sell anyone on a dream. I'm just suggesting what's possible. And the
Yeah.
way that it's possible is we all stick together and we all believe in it. Not in a crazy way, not no matter what, under any circumstances, but we buy into what's happening. And what's happening is magic is happening. And yeah, they're tough times. Of course they're going to be. This is crypto. But I see this all coming together based on our mutual agreement. I'm talking about everybody that's listening to me and everybody's participating in Titano, that we want to execute this vision.
Right.
This is the vision. This is what you signed up for. And it's amazing. And it'll change things. Not Titano alone, but just like I'm getting phone calls from other companies going, "Hey man, we want to be a part of that. Is there a role for us?" And then you start a conversation. These aren't just, as I mentioned, just DeFi projects or crypto projects. These are real world projects. Hey, I heard what you said. That's really interesting. So let's see, but that's what I personally see. That's what I see the potential for what we are all doing together, team. Hopefully that answers your question, as long-winded as it was.
Oh, that was good. That was great. So we got a question here by Sean Clayton. This is just a simple, they said, how often will Titan Talk be? Once a week, once a month, whatever. So the goal is at least once a week. Now, obviously things happen. We don't want to make promises we can't keep. Like you guys just seen, I was moving, right? Like you can't, like sometimes things just happen, but the goal is we will try to do this at least once a week where we can
Right.
interact with you guys, give you guys updates. So you don't have to wait maybe like once a month for this giant AMA
Right.
event. Now, obviously the
That's
team will
right.
still have AMAs and stuff, but yeah, this is strictly for information. So just to prevent information dumps, right? So you guys don't have like this overload all at once. You guys have this consistent small little, tidbits here and there.
Mm.
So another question here. Let me scroll down. Guatel. So this one was asked, but just to preface this question, this has been asked a bunch. This is a common thing in the DeFi world, and I would love for this to be in Titan Talk, so that way we can have this question. It's going to be recorded. Obviously, you can watch the replays of this. So I want this to be within Titan Talk as well. So Guatel, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. They said, "Is it possible the team will ever show their face one day?"
Wow. Yes.
Just a simple yes.
Yes is the answer to that question. If you ask me my preference, I would say sooner rather than later. That's my preference. But yes is the answer to that question.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's like, just to give you guys just a little bit of what my personal opinions are. I've said it so many times. DeFi, people make the jokes of the DeFi is the Wild West. And, even if the team is doing everything they say they're doing, working hard, they have no ill intentions whatsoever, the price can still dip like it's doing right now. And,
Yep.
you'll have a lot of emotional investors freaking out,
Yep.
texting and messaging and trying to threaten, the team and stuff like that. And, we've seen celebrities. I can't stop saying this because it's hilarious. You see so many celebrities, Floyd Mayweather being one of them. You've seen so many celebrities make these NFTs and tokens and all these stuff, all these big YouTubers, and they rug on their audiences all the time. And I think literally some of these people have done it multiple times. So it's like doxing is like, again, I take doxing with a grain of salt. I take the actions of what the team is actually doing way more weight than what color their eyes are.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And there is a safety aspect. I haven't ever gotten any death threats or anything like that. But I remember when Jesse Eccles sent me that message, hey man, people are threatening me and my family, and I was mortified. Because you can disagree with someone, which in that case I certainly disagreed, but I never condone anything like that. He didn't sign up for anything like that. And some people I do get a lot of highly emotional people in my in my DMs, and I do my best to calm them down. And sometimes there is no calming them down. You know, I had to block my first Titan last week. First time I ever did it. I just couldn't calm this person down, and so I had to block the person because, you know, I don't want it to go there. But that's a reality when you're dealing with, uh, you know, people's money, and you're dealing with trying to do something great. It doesn't always go the way that you want it. So, you know, I respect the guy's role or position on what they want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, as an investor, you have an option. Listen, if you don't show who you are, I can't give you my money. I respect that. I've had that
Yeah.
conversation with people. But yeah, but again, Austin, with what you said, you know, I've yet to be able to put a correlation to, oh, these people are doxxed and you didn't lose your money.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Well,
So
when you were talking about those threats and stuff, someone someone in the chat said I can't. They said, "Hey David, I sent you a love threat with a heart emoji." So we
that's the
got
guy
one
I
last.
blocked, but that's the person I
Yeah, that's
blocked,
the
by
guy
the
you
way.
blocked.
Yep, I didn't want to bring that part of it up. It was a love threat, you know, and I'm not up for that, Austin. Come on, man.
So we got one last question here, and this is by Sug Z. They said, "Can you give us some inside skinny on Switch and the positives the team is seeing since it's been released?" So this is a pretty good one. So
Mm.
what is the team seeing as a positive impact for Titano after this Switch has been launched?
Positive impact is we have our own decks, right? We are now, remember, the issues with DeFi 1.0, and really the greater crypto space is liquidity, right? It's liquidity and uh, 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 decentralization, right?
Yeah,
So DeFi 1.0 had two pain points. The pain points were all of these projects were centralized, and when the project failed, they just went the way of the Edsel, right? And it was very delicate. Also, it's easier to do these rug pulls, all this sort of stuff. The second issue was liquidity. Along comes Olympus DAO, and Olympus DAO owns their own liquidity, and for a while control their own fate. Now, other things happen, my opinion, not because of Olympus DAO, but because of all the projects that followed after it, which modified things. So Titano has the agenda for Titano was to fulfill what DeFi 1.0 didn't do, right? So the first area was decentralization, right? Fixing the APY guarantees that the treasury is no longer centralized. It's in the wallets of all the token holders, right? The second issue was liquidity. And we saw what was happening with Titano by not controlling our own liquidity. We were at the whim of PancakeSwap. Now, again, I
yeah,
don't want to vilify PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap is not a bad guy. They are just a typical DEX. So what does having our own DEX means? It means we fulfill, right, that mission of DeFi 2.0, decentralization and liquidity. We own our own liquidity. And owning our own liquidity allows us to then offer all sorts of services to other DeFi projects, including positioning them so they have liquidity, launching other projects, right? All kinds of things, fees and burning and all these sorts of things, staking and farming. So what has the benefit been as a foundation for our being able to launch many of these other use cases that I was talking about and building out this entire economy? It's been fantastic. It's been working well, right? We haven't had any problems with the DEX. So all that stuff is good. We felt that it's going to have to be something that will grow. It's going to take some time getting people to understand that this is where you're going to buy your tokens and sell your tokens from now on. So the marketing associated to that, dealing with places like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, all of those things were X factors for us. So it's been really, really positive. And as I mentioned, now the partners are coming along saying we want to get involved with what you're doing. I get a lot of partners that are coming saying, hey, we want to do something with Titano. And I go, well, first, are you on Binance? Yes, I am. The easiest way to catch my attention is to fill out that form and say that you want to be on our DEX. That's how
yeah.
I'm saying there are 10 projects that come to me. Great, you want my attention? Dude, I'm really busy. Are you on our DEX? No, I'm not. You're interested? I didn't thought about it. Fill out the form, and believe me, that'll get you right to the devs. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's been a huge net positive for us, and I expect that that net will grow and grow and grow.
That's awesome. So that was the final question for the first episode of Titan Talk with the little mini AMA section. I think this was pretty great. I think this is something really
Mm.
cool. I mean, we're at 50 minutes. I know we tried to say we'd stay under
All
an
right,
hour, but just kind of super quick, as quick as we can be, anyways, of dropping some
right.
consistent information, you guys. So let us know in the chat. Let us know. Drop a like if you found this live stream helpful. If you found this, this Titan Talk, if you like this type of format where it's quick and to the point. And I really enjoyed it. I think this is really helpful. And of course, you can go back and watch this replay 50 times if you didn't get a part of it. I know, I will, as far as when David tells me to take notes. With that being said, do you have any closing remarks, David?
Yeah, I just want to say that I've gotten a couple of messages where people are questioning whether our side of the equation is aware of what's going on. Are you guys seeing what's happening to the price? Are you guys seeing? And I try to respond compassionately. Of course we do. Of course I feel it. I'm an investor in Titano. I've got friends and family in Titano. Of course I feel it. But my job is to look at the data, look at what's going on, and then be responsible with my responses. And so I'm not, if you, as you guys may know, I'm not a hopium person. I'm not, oh, everything's going to be all right. That's never been me. I am do I see a path out of this? What's really going on? And right now, there are a complicated set of factors that are causing what's happening with Titano. And I believe that when those factors change, the price is going to change. So that's what I always talk about when people send me a message. And sometimes it may seem like, oh, you're just disregarding. I'm not. I'm not. There are certain factors and certain things that we can do to cause some things to happen. Like example, gotten a lot of people saying, well, why don't you guys just burn tokens? That's going to cause the price to go up. It doesn't work like that. Doing things like burning tokens, removing non-token supply, all those sorts of things cause positive price pressure, right? What causes price to go up is more people buying larger amounts than selling. Nothing you can do can change that, right? You can do some temporary things, right? But the temporary things that people do, juicing the token and all those sorts of things, everyone knows that, and they usually end in less of it. Think about it. If the only way the reason the price was going up is because we're buying all of our own tokens, it seems like a desperation move, because it is.
Yeah.
Right? We've got to build this project up organically back up to where it was, and we can. And what I'm hoping for is, you said it earlier, Austin, since we've launched, the market's been going down, down, down. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I say this all the time. When the market actually starts going up over a sustained period of time, what's going to happen with this project?
Yeah.
So, we're compassionate about all these things. And as I always say, what's our response? We're going to keep building. We're just going to keep building and keep building and keep building and keep building, because I believe that that's what you guys want us to do. Yeah. We're not going to be perfect. We're not going to do everything perfectly every single time. We're going to make a ton of mistakes. You guys are catching us all the time. By the way, shout out to Prisma Shield, which is a new auditing firm that caught a mistake in the Titano V token before it was launched. You guys are amazing. We're going to do a bunch of things with them. If you guys are listening, we're going to do a bunch of things with you guys. We really, really appreciate it. They're Titans. They alerted us, and it was fantastic. But as I've said, this happens all the time with you Titans. So, great things are happening. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep, when we do make mistakes, we're going to correct them as quickly as possible. And we're going to learn from those mistakes and do better. Keep your messages, your comments, your criticisms, your love, your hate, keep it all coming. It's all great. And if I ever appear to not be compassionate, that isn't it. I am extraordinarily compassionate. I got a guy the other day saying, hey man, my family and I'm worried. And I said, I'm with you, brother, but let me get to work. Let me stay on the work, because that's how we work our way out of this. So that's my closing. You guys are appreciated and loved. Thank you as always for your support and faith, and we will continue on this amazing journey together.
Absolutely. And I can't top that. So we're just going to end it on that.
Oh
so,
man.
so great. Thank you for that, David. Thank you guys for watching.
Oh,
I
my
will see you
pleasure.
guys
Thank
in
you,
the
Austin.
next Titan Talk. Yes. See you guys later.